Hi, my name is Goldman. I'm the director and founder of Goldman and Associates. Our firm has a primary focus on family law issues here in Michigan. Today we're going to continue our video series designed to educate the public and our potential client base. We provide interesting information about all sorts of issues in family law, so please subscribe to our channel. Today we're going to talk about something that has become very much in the discussions, legal topics, and that is the collaborative divorce process. Now, what is that? Is it a useful process? Is this something that people should consider, and who should consider that? Well, let's tackle some of those issues. The concept of the collaborative process is that parties who are getting divorced should work together toward a solution-oriented format rather than a format that exploits their differences. In doing so, they can get one attorney who will help them collaborate and come up with a solution on their own outside of the standard court system. Now, once they come up with a solution, of course, the judge has to sign off on it. So for it to be binding, you're going to have to get back into the court system anyway, but the idea is that you avoid the litigation process between the parties and simply ultimately get a judge to sign off on it once the whole thing is put in place. And really, it's the right sentiment. That is to say, all these things should be geared toward trying to find solutions. And so there should be a collaboration of sorts between the parties, to accomplish that. Particularly since we know all the carnage that comes about as a result of bitter divorces. The issues are that, the collaboration requires a certain amount of cooperation between the parties, cooperation which does not typify those involved in a bitter divorce. So, in other words, if you can't collaborate on the things to keep your marriage together, what makes people think they're going to be able to collaborate on the issues as they divorce? Some will be able to, some won't be able to. I mean, ultimately, the idea was to avoid the acrimony. More and more, though, I see that what people are trying to use this for is because they think it'll save them money. They think, we'll save money because we each won't have to pay a lawyer. So we'll get one guy to help us frame this thing and put it together. What they don't realize is if there are no real issues, so there's not a lot of property, there's not a whole lot to discuss, then even in the context of a regular divorce, it probably wouldn't escalate. On the flip side, if you've got a lot of, businesses and houses and properties and all these things, and you got to work out a solution, in order to do it through a collaborative means, you're still going to need the assistance of a lawyer for many, many, many hours to help you go through that. You may need the assistance of a CPA. There may have to be experts to come in to tell you the value of things. You may not agree on those values, and then all of a sudden, your collaboration just sort of falls through. Not only that, but the concept of a collaboration is that it will exist, at least in its purest form, outside of the court system, meaning that you don't have a complaint for divorce on file with the court. You don't have the timetable of the divorce ticking against you, so you have to do this. That's considered a good thing on the one hand. On the other hand, it takes out all the financial incentive, all the timing incentive. It takes out all the guts of the process that forces people to get it done. In your divorce cases that are pending, the court allows the people a certain amount of time to have settlement conferences and try to work it out. If they can't, though, the court's reaction is call your first witness. Let's get it going. Win, lose, or draw. This is going to end. The problem with your collaborative system is you're outside the court system, so there's no timetables as such. As a matter of fact, the thought process is if you have a divorce pending and you decide to go a collaborative way, that your divorce case has to be dismissed first. Now, I personally think that the problem is that the collaborative process presupposes a utopian relationship between the parties that I just don't think is overly realistic in most divorces. I think most people are at odds on major issues, which is why they go down the divorce road in the first place. So I'm not sure collaboration will work for everybody. I do think it'll work for some people. I think it'll work for some people who may, have either very little in the way of assets, or they've already agreed that certain assets will stay certain places because maybe they came from family heirlooms or whatever, and if they can agree on that, that's great. I think, though, that what we see more and more of is we see difficult personalities We see the fringes of mental illness at play in a lot of your divorces. Different types of personalities that may be narcissistic. There may be, different kinds of personalities that are subject to other psychological pathologies like manic depression, general depression, different kinds of things that it's going to make it very, very difficult to do a collaborative process. So I think in sum, the idea of a collaborative process through a collaborative divorce lawyer, I think has a great idea. I think the sentiment is correct. I think that should be the goal. Is it realistic, and do I see a lot of instances where that'll actually work? No, I don't. Do I think it'll be cheaper? No, I don't think it will, because if you really need that process and you really have a lot of things that are subject to that, you're going to spend every bit as much time with experts and lawyers and all that, getting it together anyway as you go through the collaborative process. So I don't think it's a huge savings. I think it has become popular because I think people think, oh, we'll pay for one lawyer instead of two, it'll cut the bill in half. Not necessarily. If you have any questions about whether or not the collaborative process is for you, or whether you have some specific things we haven't covered, reach out, of course, and we'll be glad to help you out.